She opened the door expecting a peaceful day, perhaps a tender moment, perhaps a surprise. But she wasn't prepared for this. Chrissy Lynn stood motionless as Jim Jones stood in front of her eyes, his expression unreadable. Divorce papers in his hand, no warning, just a silent declaration that the story was over, or so it seemed. For more than 2 decades, Chrissy and Jim were reality TV royalty, from hip-hop and love to red carpets. The couple that made it through it all, battling fame and even failed proposals. However, off-camera, a completely different story was being written, a twisted script of lies, betrayal, and deceit that would force even Mona Scott to change the tagline of her show. Jim had long acknowledged that the child that Chrissy had once claimed as his had died in a terrible miscarriage. He grieved and blamed himself, but something didn't feel right. So he did something unexpected and ordered a private DNA test in secret. Through a contact that wasn't connected to VH1 or Chrissy. The results revealed not one but 2 distinct truths. Everything fell apart when Chrissy stated that the child she claimed had died was alive and that he was not biologically linked. On the day of the court hearing, which was initially about an old VH1 production dispute, Jim's world was shattered by years of emotional sacrifice, family conflict, and even public humiliation, all for something that wasn't real, but instead of snapping. He remained composed and collected receipts, timelines, and footage to build a case not for television, but for court. He wasn't just going to walk away, though. He was going to expose every lie she had ever told. Jim entered the room by himself, without any crew or tension, just that envelope. And Chrissy was already inside, browsing through her phone without that her world was going to fall apart. When she glanced up and saw him, there was no grin or nod. Just that paper in her broken courtroom, and the air was filled with Mama's screams. Jones screamed, "I knew it. Told you all she was lying," security cried. But Chrissy, and she sat with her mouth clenched, staring down her own demise. The materials were opened by the judge. Jim didn't say anything, but Chrissy didn't deny it either. She turned to face the judge and said, in 6 words that sent the internet into a frenzy, "I did what I had to do." Within hours, Chrissy's voicemails were leaked, and in one of them, she tells her publicist if the second test comes back negative, stall him, saying, "The lab lost it. I just need to get through the reunion." She wasn't just hiding the truth, she was timing it. A $7,000 wire transfer revealed that Chrissy had reportedly paid a clinic in New Jersey to fabricate test results not just for one test, but for both and worse. Court documents revealed that she had repurposed old ultrasound video and birth paperwork from years earlier. Jim's close friends claimed that he always thought it strange that he couldn't go to doctor's appointments. But Chrissy had lines for that too. "I need something just for me. You stress me out," Chrissy said while she was out making secret moves and texting other people, not just anybody. The rest of the story was revealed by Cameron, Jim's former Dipset brother. A hotel receipt, 2 toothbrushes, and surveillance footage from Miami on August 14, 2018. Cameron opened the door after Chrissy banged on room 804 twice. When the assistant, witness C, arrived, she revealed to the court that she had worked with Chrissy for 3 years and that she had staged pregnancy photos, erased texts, and even created plots for production pitches. She claimed that at one point, Chrissy had told her, "I just need sympathy shots before the reunion. Get baby clothes. I'll fake the bump." Jim sat like a stone while the judge gaped in shock. Since the following footage contained an off-camp voice memo from a love and hip-hop staffer, Chrissy's lawyer had nothing. She states that men don't need the full truth. They need a story. At this point, Jim was devastated rather than angry and told the court, "I just want peace. I don't want revenge. I want my years back." The more mystery, the longer they stay. However, the court wasn't finished. More footage was submitted by Cameron's crew. Whispering in a hotel lobby, Chrissy and Cam, Chrissy's voice makes it obvious that he thinks I should wait, the next season is locked in. What might happen next? Only be referred to as a storm. Chrissy's joint accounts her endorsements for her brand were canceled. According to emails stolen by VH1 insiders, the pregnancy scare was planned 3 months before the movie even started, when everyone thought the worst was over. Mona Scott's legal team revealed yet another bombshell, a compilation of voice recordings compiled from backup accounts and court subpoena data in which Chrissy claims that Jim was never going to marry her unless he believed that I was carrying his child. I gave him the information he needed to believe in, and Mona added, if I could carry the pregnancy arc through episode 5, we'd get the spinoff. So that's what I did. Fans outside the courthouse were furious and irate. And she merely sat quietly with her hands clasped and her eyes fixed on the ground. There was more than just emotional betrayal. There was outright manipulation of reality when a second witness, a production worker who later became a whistleblower, testified that he was instructed to edit scenes to support Chrissy's story by removing clips in which Jim voiced doubt and inserting reaction shots from unrelated moments. The last straw was when a spreadsheet containing suspicious transfers, gifts, funds, and payments to shell accounts linked to Chrissy's business manager was shared by a private investigator hired by Jim's team. The DA's office immediately learned of Jim's last statements in court. This wasn't just a betrayal of love. It was a betrayal of my legacy, my name, my brand, and my trust. He turned and walked through the closed Chrissy doors. The question now isn't whether Chrissy Lampkin can survive this. Rather, it's whether she will ever be believed again because, although the cameras may have stopped filming, the receipts are still playing, and just when you thought it couldn't get any deeper, a previously unreleased piece of footage was brought in. This time it was from a 2021 Atlanta rap party, where a now-fired producer claimed that over drinks, Chrissy had confessed to a fellow cast member, whispering to someone, "The baby thing is just to keep the heat off cam. Jim can't take 2 betrayals." The courtroom silently watched the incident that was accidentally captured on camera, verified by 2 separate sources, and added to the evidence folder. Jim didn't flinch, but Mama Jones had to be let out once more. The betrayal was not only emotional, it had now permeated intellectual property treaties, brand agreements, and other areas. Jim's lawyer contended that Chrissy's dishonesty affected everything from spin-off ID's platforms for streaming. It was professional deception, not just personal. The brand audits followed, and an accountant disclosed that Chrissy had transferred profits from their joint ventures to a Delaware-registered LLC. The company, which was quiet and discreet, had been receiving funds for more than 4 years. And Jim had never approved the funds or seen the name of the LLC, Forever Family Productions. Nobody missed the irony. When the judge refused to grant Chrissy's lawyer's request for a break, he said, next came the third witness, a stylist who had worked on several VH1 reunion specials. She revealed that Chrissy frequently prepared scenes weeks in advance, telling us what emotions to prepare for the stylist. She said we'd have crying makeup, waterproof eyeliner. She treated it like theater. The judge's face said it all, and fans outside were now camped out around the courthouse for live streaming updates. The response came quickly. Leading sponsors withdrew their agreements, old material reappeared, and influencers, and even competing cast members started sending cryptic messages. One wrote, "Some of us knew, but we didn't speak. Now look." Someone else shared an earlier picture of Chrissy with the message, "Every lie has a season." When it came time for Jim's response inside the courtroom, he played one final voicemail without ranting or crying. When it was all over, the judge glanced over his glasses and said, "Do you deny the voice is yours, Chrissy?" I sighed. "No, Your Honor." Motion passed, accounts frozen, investigation expanded, and just when the gavel was about to drop, Jim turned to Chrissy for the first time since the hearing began. He looked her in the eyes and said, "I would have loved you forever if you'd just been honest." He left the room without moving for a full minute, and Chrissy remained seated alone, and producers. The cameras may have stopped rolling, but the truth is that we're only getting started. What do you think? Was this a love story gone wrong? Or a masterfully planned deception from day one? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you want more unfiltered Hollywood breakdowns, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.